Well, you can skip. Like you don't. It's not like you had to have to build a whole scene that makes sense. You can skip scenes. Isn't that something that would save you time?
Like, I think the best example is Watchmen. You know, they changed some things up, but they did it right. You know what I mean? I think sometimes it's better because if you already read the manga, why would you just want the same exact story over again? So,
Okay.
if the changes make sense. This guy is drawing all this stuff, and I'm thinking to myself, why are you sitting here drawing all this? This is crazy. Like, we live in the year 2022. Why are you not using technology? Why are you sitting here? You're not using any type of technology to make your job easier. You're not trying to speed up the process. You're using the same workflow that people were using 50 years ago. But as time progresses and we get technology, you have to incorporate new technology. You can't be sitting here doing things this way. Like, there's too many tools. Like they were saying they need to hire assistants, right? And you hire your assistant to draw things like backgrounds. Okay, so you're paying this guy all this money. That's where your money's going. How about instead of doing that, you get Unreal Engine and it can just draw the backgrounds for you? Like, why are you doing this? All right, guys, welcome back to the channel. Maybe if you guys seen our last video talking about the anime industry, now we're gonna hit the manga industry. I mean, things aren't looking too much better, but here we go.
Picked up by a big publishing company like Shonen Jump, though you would expect it to get easier from there, this is far from the truth for mangakas. There are no breaks. The weekly schedule for most mangakas relies on less than 6 hours of sleep every day, a number that reduces usually the bigger and more popular the manga is. Eiichiro Oda, the author of One Piece and the biggest manga in the history of the world, is reported to on average sleep only 3 hours from 2 a.m. to 5 a.m. Another source claims that these 3 hours actually consist of only 30-minute naps every 4 hours. So, why is time so limited?
Now, I had sort of a different take with these guys, man. These guys.
Well, I
what you got?
Well, you can skip. Like you don't. It's not you. Like you had to have to build a whole scene that makes sense. You can skip scenes. Isn't that something that would save you time?
Well,
isn't that something?
From what I'm saying, like the video is manga writers. He calls them manga writers, and first I'm thinking, wait, are these the guys that just write? But no, I guess like the manga guy, they're making the stories, they're drawing everything, and they're doing everything. But I don't know, like what do you mean? Like, how can you skip? I don't.
So you know, when you are actually animating something, you got to make sure it doesn't skip. You know what I mean? If you throwing a punch, it can't be like I'm throwing a punch and it hits you and you over there. You got to see the transition between one scene and the other, like the whole transition.
Yeah.
But when it's a manga, you can like put somebody like, and then the next one like crying or on the floor. Like you don't.
But you're still drawing all this.
Yes, but you can skip a lot of things and just fill in with the words, and people imagine what's really going on.
Yeah. Well, I mean.
By the way, I have a question, real quick.
Yeah.
Does it bother you when manga and the actual anime are different? Like when there's a lot of differences between one and the other?
I don't read that much to really tell. I mean, I would think like let's say like another equivalent would be, let's say, like movies and comic books over here, right? I think if you do it right, you know, I think the best example is Watchmen. You know, they changed some things up, but they did it right. You know what I mean? I think sometimes it's better because if you already read the manga, why would you just want the same exact story over again? So,
okay,
if the changes make sense.
Okay. Fair enough. I usually don't like it, and the reason I'm saying that is not because I read the manga or anything like that. I used to go to this website where this guy would tell you what's going on in the manga and everything, and that's how you knew what was going on for the next episode of Dragon Ball Super. A lot of times there was a lot of big differences between one thing and the other, and that kind of threw me off. I didn't like that experience. Okay, going back to the thing, man. I think that's an advantage
But you're like,
you know,
you still have to draw this stuff. You know what I mean? Like, you're thinking because it's not animated, it's easy. You have to draw this. I got one more here.
Of course, these problems exist on the condition that the mangaka does make it. Their manga makes it into Shonen Jump or another renowned publisher, and they get popular. Because if they don't get popular enough, then they can't afford assistants, a valuable asset for any manga writer, and have to do all of the work themselves, filling in lines, backgrounds, shading, all of it on their own. The pay is also nearly criminal. The assistant to the writer of Prince of Tennis gave the figure at about $100 per page. And though that could mean about $8,000 per month for a weekly author producing 20 pages a week, this is before taxes and hiring assistants, which will, of course, detract heavily from it. Though it isn't necessarily terrible, relative to the insane schedule they have and overwork, it is certainly not comparatively enough. Getting an anime adaptation can also
My issue with these guys, man, is like especially there's this one scene right here, right? Let's see if I can get to this. This guy is drawing all this stuff, and I'm thinking to myself, why are you sitting here drawing all this? This is crazy. Like, we live in the year 2022. Why are you not using technology? Why are you sitting here? You're not using any type of technology to make your job easier. You're not trying to speed up the process. You're using the same workflow that people were using 50 years ago. I mean,
I thought you were against digital art before. You said you
no.
missed.
If you're not doing it properly, then yeah, it's bad. But first we're talking about manga, and one of the best mangas of all time, Ghost in the Shell. Like, he was using CG. He was using CG back in like 1980, 89, or whenever he made the first one. And when he did the other one, Ghost in the Shell 2, he used even more. I mean, you gotta, keep your skills fresh. You gotta keep learning, especially when you got these deadlines and you got that much, work that's on your plate.
I know people who complain when they recycle scenes. You know what that means?
Yeah, I know what you're saying.
When they grab one drawing or one frame and use it more than once.
Yeah.
Let's say I'm gonna keep using Dragon Ball as a reference, but when they flying and you see the same trees passing by, that's kind of shifting through the same drawings.
Yeah.
So a lot of people hate when people do that. So they are forced to draw a lot of things. Fun fact. The transformation of a Super Saiyan was invented because they were tired of filling in Goku's hair.
Yeah.
Did you know that?
No, I didn't.
So in the black and white manga, they just left it empty.
Oh, so you are talking about the manga?
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, you know what? What I'm saying wouldn't work because I'm thinking the original Dragon Ball Z manga, that was way back in the 80s, right? So that was like, but as time progresses and we get technology, you have to incorporate new technology. You can't be sitting here doing things this way. Like, there's too many tools. Like they were saying they need to hire assistants, right? And you hire your assistant to draw things like backgrounds. Okay, so you're paying this guy all this money. That's where your money's going. How about instead of doing that, you get Unreal Engine and it can just draw the backgrounds for you? Like, why are you doing this? This is crazy.
Yeah, that's enough.
That's just me, being an artist, and I'm seeing these guys. I'm like, and I see this a lot. These artists where they can draw.
Likes to stay.
They say this ain't no culture.
This is a culture.
Like I said, one of the greatest books of all time, Ghost in the Shell. The guy was incorporating this.
Who makes that? Are they Japanese as well?
Come on, man! It's Ghost in the Shell. You know they're Japanese. Oh, I forget you're not like into it like that.
No, Ghost in the Shell. What I don't know is who produces this, who makes it.
It's all Japanese. Yeah.
Okay, cool. But Japanese, by culture, they like to stay close to tradition. I don't know if that plays a role in what we are talking.
Shiro,
what you think?
Shiro had no problem incorporating.
I'm thinking a lot, and at the same time, I'm asking myself the same question: about what Ed's saying. Like, why are they still drawing it? Why are they still inclined to do it that way? And there's, I think, some nobleness about it to do it like the traditional way.
Goes to tradition, right? Like,
Yeah.
No,
I
but
think a
but
little
even
bit
still,
of what Ed's saying and a little bit of what I'm saying is what's going on.
if you go through, like, they're using tablets too. Like, some guys are using digital tablets drawing, and it's like, but you're still drawing. Like, you can use more technology and get way more workout, is what I'm saying. And you're just sitting
And
there.
then the same company they have some anime, they're producing some anime that is traditional and some of it is from digital art as well.
If you do it properly, you wouldn't even be able to tell.
It's like Call of Duty like groups and stuff like that. I don't know. I don't know what's the sense at this point. If you seeing like how much
That's not
You
what
gotta-
digital is. As an artist, right? One way you could use digital is this, right? Like, I forget exactly the program. I think it could be Manga Studio or whatever, but it's kind of like Photoshop. It's a drawing program, and what it has is a 3D guy, and you can pose him and do him in all kind of weird poses, and then you can use that as a tool to draw over. Right, so you get all your anatomy, everything spot on, perfect. Your foreshortening, everything is done, and you don't have to put that much work into it. And you're still drawing, but you're using an aid to speed up the process. It's like it's things like that, you know. It's like they're not using anything. Or if you were to, let's say you rendered out a scene in Unreal Engine, you can have it 3D and then render it out like it's drawn in pencil, and then go over it with digitally again and trace over it so it looks more like the way you want it. Like there's a whole bunch of different things you can do. It's what I'm saying.
At the same time, they are not doing it. So why is that?
There's another one too. I want to show you another one
Exactly.
where it just kind of upset me here.
It's not paying well. It's not.
The cost
That's what I'm saying.
of the cost to the manga
it
artist.
just doesn't work,
Sitting in
man.
a chair
It does.
for so long.
Forget about the cost. It doesn't work. And these companies at this point are making so much money. The other thing is like you have 100% like of how can you say it? I agree with you 100%, Ed, and that's why I bought my tablet because I was doing it on paper. And when you actually question me about it, like what are you gonna do with that? Every time you're gonna draw something, you gotta start from scratch. And I'm like, you know what? You have a point. You have a point.
But yeah, you can
how
keep going on. It's not this is tablet, but start to use 3D and start using even more and more tools to where you can put out tons of stuff. And there's this one part, something else here, real quick.
Isn't the only cost of being a mangaka either. Sitting in a chair for so long working on manga leads to numerous health hazards. They can develop diabetes despite almost all mangakas being very skinny and almost frail.
And I'm sitting here like, okay, you're sitting in a chair for so long, 5, 6, 7 hours, to where your body's falling apart. Why don't you have an adjustable height desk? Like what are these people? I'm standing up at my desk right now. I'm standing up right now at the desk. Like at some point, it's like it's them. I don't know, man. I don't have sympathy for these guys. I just don't.
Okay, I guess.
I think we have to send Ed over to there to kick some sense into those people.
Dude, when I was drawing, I'm sitting here drawing.
Their crayons, not, you know what I mean.
I'm sitting here drawing for hours, and I'm like, man, I feel like I'm sick. I can't keep sitting down. I got to do something, right? You know, I mean, there has to be a better way. Can I stack some books up so I can work? You know, something. Wait, there's these desks where they're adjustable height. There you go. But they haven't figured. They don't have that technology in Tokyo, apparently. What you guys got anything else?
No.
It's,
No, but when's your birthday? We need to buy your plane ticket and send you down there, man. Sorry, slap.
yeah.
Well, send me through anime boot camp for a month.
No, it would be amazing actually to experience that.
Maybe that's an idea.
Yeah.
That's a good idea. Like, yeah, but then you get a bunch of amateurs trying to make an anime. It's not. Yeah. Anyways, it's hours that's being put in, and there's a lack
I
of
think
it.
we could come up with something, even ourselves. We could come up with something cool. That's an idea as well. But that's pretty much it. Unidentified. Thank you for watching.
All right, guys.
Thank you. See you in the next.